I will explain 20 points, presented with a cool, strategic approach to help you cultivate a mindset that leads to a more active and appealing life. I will explain step by step all the points in this video. The first points: map your mental terrain. I already explained the video in this channel, and also video link will avlavile on descriptions. If you've not seen this video, first watch this one, then you can understand better. So today I explain the second one, protecting your mental airspace from negativity. Declare your no-fly zones, protecting your mental airspace from negativity. The sky above your mind. Every country protects its airspace. Military forces vigilantly monitor the skies, setting up no-fly zones to safeguard sensitive areas. No-fly zones are not arbitrary restrictions. They are necessary boundaries to prevent hostile intrusions that could destabilize security and peace. In the same way, your mind is an airspace. It is vast, full of clouds of imagination, winds of thought, and the sunlight of creativity. But just like any sky, it can also be invaded by storms of negativity. Fear, envy, criticism, toxic people, destructive habits, or draining environments. If you want to protect your peace, creativity, and growth, you must declare your own no-fly zones. These are boundaries that clearly state, this space is sacred. I do not allow these thoughts, habits, or people to enter. Too often, we allow negativity to bombard us daily without questioning it. We scroll social media feeds that make us feel inadequate. We maintain friendships that drain our energy. We cling to habits that sabotage our growth. We live as though our mental sky is unprotected airspace, open to any incoming plane. But when you declare no-fly zones, you become the guardian of your mental environment. You are saying, my peace is valuable. My focus is sacred. I will not allow just anything to fly into my head. Now I will explain in depth with 10 points. First, 1, understanding mental airspace. Your mind is not an isolated bubble. It is a living, breathing ecosystem influenced by information inputs, what you read, watch, hear, people, friends, co-workers, family, habits and environments, daily routines, physical surroundings, internal dialogue, self-talk, beliefs, repeated thought patterns. All of these contribute to the mental, whether you experience daily. If you constantly consume negative news, your airspace will be stormy. If you surround yourself with uplifting people, your airspace will feel lighter and clearer. The first step in declaring no-fly zones is to recognize what currently invades your mental airspace. What are the biggest triggers of negativity for you? What sources repeatedly make you feel drained, insecure, or stuck? Second one, identifying negative triggers. A trigger is anything that pulls you into a downward spiral of thought or emotion. Here are common categories of negativity triggers. Digital triggers. Social media feeds that spark comparison or envy. News outlets that sensationalize fear. Endless notifications that fragment focus. Relational triggers. Friends who gossip or constantly complain. Colleagues who undermine or manipulate. Family members who consistently criticize or drain energy. Habitual triggers. Scrolling your phone first thing in the morning. Late night binge watching that leads to fatigue. Overconsumption of caffeine, sugar, or alcohol. Internal triggers. Negative self-talk. I'm not good enough. Perfectionism and constant comparison. Old beliefs that limit growth. By identifying these triggers, you begin to see the enemy planes that invade your mental airspace. Third one, the cost of unprotected airspace. What happens when you don't declare no-fly zones? The consequences are subtle but powerful. Mental overload. Just like too many planes in one sky, too many unfiltered inputs overwhelm your ability to focus. Energy drain. Toxic relationships and habits siphon your vitality, leaving you exhausted for what truly matters. Emotional turbulence. Exposure to constant negativity keeps you in a reactive, defensive state of mind. Stunted growth. If your airspace is filled with noise, there is no room for creative or empowering ideas to take flight. Think of it this way. If your mind is like fertile soil, then negativity is a pollution that poisons the ground. Without boundaries, your potential becomes harder to cultivate. Fourth one, declaring your no-fly zones. Declaring no-fly zones is about conscious boundaries. Here's how to do it. Audit your airspace. Spend a week noticing what consistently makes you feel negative, drained, or insecure. Write them down. Set non-negotiables. Example, I do not check social media before 10 a.m. Example, I will not engage in gossip conversations. Example, I will not allow work emails after 8 p.m. Communicate clearly. To others, gently but firmly express boundaries. I'm choosing not to discuss negative topics right now. To yourself, affirm your boundaries daily. Replace with positives. Every no-fly zone creates open airspace for something better. If you cut negative news, replace it with uplifting podcasts. If you end toxic friendships, invest in supportive ones. Fifth one, examples of no-fly zones. Let's look at how no-fly zones may look in practice. Digital example. You unfollow accounts that make you feel less than and instead curate feeds with inspiring creators. Relational example. You limit time with a toxic friend, replacing it with time spent with mentors or encouraging peers. Habitual example. You stop doom scrolling before bed and instead journal or read. Internal example. You create a no-fly zone for thought, I can't do this, by replacing it with I'm learning as I go. 6. The psychology of boundaries. Why do no-fly zones work? Psychologically, boundaries serve 3 critical purposes. Protection. They keep harmful influences at bay. Clarity. They make it clear to yourself and others what is acceptable. Empowerment. They shift you from reactive to proactive living. When you declare no-fly zones, you are exercising agency. You are saying, I have power over what enters my mind. This dramatically reduces feelings of helplessness and increases resilience. 7th, overcoming resistance to no-fly zones. At first, setting boundaries feels uncomfortable. You may fear missing out, disappointing others, or being judged. But here's the truth. You cannot control other people's reactions, but you can control your access points. Every no creates space for a deeper, more intentional yes. Boundaries are not walls. They are gates that you consciously choose to open or close. Remember, protecting your mental airspace is not selfish. It's essential for sustainable growth. 8th, practical strategies for protecting your airspace. Digital detox windows. Block time daily for no screens. Allow your brain to breathe. Toxicity filters. Use mute, unfollow, or block liberally. Protecting peace is more important than pleasing everyone. Energy check-ins. After conversation or activity, ask, did this drain or energize me? Adjust accordingly. Morning rituals. Protect the first hour of your day as a no-fly zone from negative inputs. Fill it with practices that elevate you: meditation, journaling, gratitude. Accountability partner. Share your no-fly zones with a trusted friend or mentor who can remind you when you slip. 9th, expanding safe airspace. Declaring no-fly zones is not just about saying no. It is about creating a safe and empowering space where your best self can take flight. Instead of fear, invite courage. Instead of gossip, invite meaningful conversation. Instead of mindless scrolling, invite intentional learning. Instead of negativity, invite gratitude. By clearing your mental skies, you give your dreams, goals, and creativity the clear air they need to soar. And the last points, revisiting and updating no-fly zones. Life changes, and so do your triggers. A boundary that was essential last year may no longer apply, while new no-fly zones may need to be created. Regularly revisit your mental map and ask, what negativity has recently invaded my airspace? What boundaries do I need to update? What positive replacements can I reinforce? This keeps your mental airspace protected and adaptable. So, the flight of your future. Your mind is like the open sky, capable of carrying dreams as vast as the horizon. But without boundaries, it can easily become crowded with turbulence. Declaring no-fly zones is an act of courage and self-respect. It is a practice of saying, I will not allow this to invade my peace. I protect my airspace because my clarity, energy, and future matter. When you consciously choose what flies into your mind, You create the conditions for higher thoughts, deeper creativity, and greater resilience. You no longer react to every storm, you rise above it. So today, take a moment to declare your no-fly zones. Identify the digital feeds, toxic friends, draining habits, or negative self-talk that no longer deserve access to your sacred space. Then, watch as the skies of your mind clear and the flight path of your future opens wide. Because in the end, your mental airspace is yours to protect. And when you guard it wisely, your potential is limitless. If you found this video helpful, give it a like to help us reach more people who need this message. Subscribe so you don't miss our next video on Architect Your Morning. And for today's mission, drop a comment with the word attitude once you've committed to a new positive habit this week. I'll be in the comments cheering you on. Thanks for watching, and remember, the choice to be active starts with your mindset.